Good evening, and welcome to Direct Impact Broadcasting, the station of growth and transformation. Affiliate of Creative Broadcasting presents Leadership Tidbits with Coach T. Wilson, with your host, Tawana Wilson, as she welcomes her guest to the studio.
Welcome to Leadership Tidbits with Coach T. Wilson. I am your host, Tawana Wilson. A little bit about myself. I am your award-winning leadership maven, medical laboratory sciences by background, best-selling author, founder and CEO of Trendy Elite Media Group, as well as Trendy Elite Coaching and Consulting Services, executive director with the John Maxwell team, Maxwell Disc Certified Consultant, and co-owner of Direct Impact Broadcasting Network. Before we bring on my special guest, I want to share a few announcements. I am booking guests for this podcast through the remainder of 2020. If you have a leadership message that you would like to share, you can go on to podcast.coachtwilson.com to submit your interest. We also have a new podcast on the network called SOS for Leaders, where it offers practical strategies that you can use in both your personal and professional life. So go ahead and check out that new podcast. It gives you those practical strategies in less than 20 minutes an episode. Along those lines, make sure you grab your autographed copy, if you have not done so already, of Leadership Tidbits, the best-selling business book offering you practical and professional leadership tips, at trendyelitellc.com. Today's special guest, Ms. Martine Cadet. Martine Cadet is a social media and content strategist coach for female business coaches and lifestyle coaches. She helps her clients with her signature relationship online marketing system to attract qualified leads using Instagram and Facebook organically and effortlessly, with the ultimate goal to help them always come up with authentic social media content that converts viewers into paying clients, never run out of things to say, and are confident in connecting with their audience by mastering the skill of storytelling. Martine's system helps her clients increase their social media presence for their personal brand on Instagram and Facebook. She is a mom of two, a wife, and a sister that decided to go for her dream and design an online business that excites her each and every day. Martine is the founder and owner of Cadet Media, LLC, a boutique digital media agency supporting small business owners brand themselves online. Good evening, Martine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Tawana. I am so excited to be here and bringing your community and anyone listening some good leadership tips and motivation and some good social media, information so that they know how to position themselves. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I am so excited to have you here, especially during this time where everybody's on social media, everybody has a message to share, and I just know you have some great tips for our leaders out here who wants to make sure that their leadership messages are being received. So let's just jump right in.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Awesome. So, Martine, can you tell the listeners a little bit about your leadership journey and how did you get to where you are today?
I love that question, Tawana, because I have to tell you a lot of the reasons why I have been able to bring myself online and gain visibility is really because of mastering my relationship skills overall that I've developed within going through up the ladder of corporate America. And I have been with my corporate job for over a decade, and I've done well for myself. And as a result of me doing well for myself, I went back and thought about it, and it was really because of me positioning myself as a leader in my corporate job and building those relationships in order for me to land opportunities such as being able to travel all over the world for my job. And so I took that and really looked at ways for me to infuse that skill into my own business and figuring out how to do it all online, because the difference is you're not doing it in person, meaning building a relationship, right? And so I had to develop the skills of being able to create content that would position me as a leader, as a credible brand, personal brand that is, using social media such as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, as a result. And so I landed myself in the online space truly because I ended up hitting a plateau with my corporate job, although great, as I said, I'm still there. I'm still at my corporate job right now while running my business. But I hit a plateau a couple of years ago, 2015 to be exact, and decided to challenge myself in figuring out what is next for me. I could have very well looked at, growing into that corporate job and becoming more of a leader. And my next step there would have been either to pitch myself to become a director or, another higher executive level at that point in my corporate career. But instead, I took a step back and decided to dive in and see how I can become a leader myself, for myself, and impact as many people as I possibly can with whatever skill that I decide to realize that I had in me. Because back then when I made that decision, I did not know what it was that I wanted to do. All I knew is that I wanted to get out there and be able to find myself and ways to amplify my skills and be able to impact others with it and help them achieve what it is that they're looking to achieve in their lives.
Wow, that's awesome. It's always interesting to hear some of the guests, other guests who's been on this show, who's been in corporate America and are making that transition, whether they have made it completely to their business or they are doing both. But taking those leadership skills, transferable skills that you learned in corporate America, applying it to your business.
Yes, absolutely. And it is something that, even with my current clients, some of them are still in corporate America, and having their online business is definitely something that they're looking to scale in order for them to leave corporate America and be able to build the life of their dreams, the laptop life that now everybody all of a sudden is actually exploring to do, considering the situation that we're in with the crisis that we're in globally, right? And so I always share with my clients and I share with my friends and family that are still in corporate America that want to do something and they just don't want to stay there anymore. I always say to them, well, you got to look at it as a good blessing, because you got to look at your ability to get that job. First of all, you got to be grateful for that and look around and see what you've done over there in that job, because the skills that you've developed are absolutely skills that you're going to potentially be investing in your business. The, planning side of it, the discipline of showing up at the right time to be at your job and making sure that you show up and you leave on time and that you answer all those emails. This is all part of being a business owner, having those, ethical ways of working, right? And making sure that you follow up on time. That is all part of being a great business leader and business owner. And so I would highly suggest for anyone listening that is still in corporate America, that is anticipating wanting to leave or exploring to leave, that they take a step back and look around and see what they've been able to accomplish with that job if they're still not sure what it is that they're going to do online.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And I'm sure as you went throughout your career and you thought about making that transition to the online space, you've had to ask yourself some questions. And as we know, good leaders ask great questions. So what has been some of the best questions that you've asked that made a difference in your career and your business?
Oh, that is such a great question. I love that because one of the questions that I had asked myself is, how committed am I to truly wanting to impact as many people as I possibly can, as I wish to do, and that burning desire that I have to do so? How committed am I to do that? And that along comes with the fact that how committed are you, Martine, to show yourself online and be visible? I'm a mother. I have 2 kids. I have a personal life. And, you know, social media is a tool that a lot of people leverage the way they want. But in general, we look at it and we see the surface of it. And, you know, some people get a little bit concerned about sharing some type of content on social media, and therefore they don't fully show and know how to put their story together as a result. And so it's a decision that you have to make. And I made that decision to say, well, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to build my credibility online, then I'm going to show up fully and I'm going to truly share what's going on with me as I'm growing. I'm not going to wait until my big success stories happen. I'm going to tell my story and build my brand and let my audience come along with me. And with that came having to change my Facebook profile privacy settings to being public. It also required me to, you know, look into setting up my Instagram so that it is not private, so that I can gain that visibility. Now, of course, you know, I had to make decisions, and I still continue to make decisions as to what type of content I share. If you go on my content, you will not be able to know where I work. I don't share that in my content with my employer because I protect my you know, relationship with them since I am still there. You follow what I'm saying? So you know, it's a decision that I had to make. And with that decision, though, came in 2018 the opportunity for me to be reached by Facebook. Facebook reached out to me through an email, and I thought it was a spam back then, asking me to apply for an exclusive link that they had sent to me to become one of their speakers at their event in my local town. And I was taken back by it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just started business. I just got it online in 2015. I'm this girl from the Caribbean who learned how to speak English. My first language is French, and, you know, how do I do this? And I had to step up. I had to be the leader that I always wanted to be for my business, and I made the decision to show up for this opportunity. I applied. I got a follow-up call from Facebook, went on the interview with them, and a couple of weeks later got an email saying that I was selected to be one of the speakers at their event. And so that came because I made the decision to position myself out there with my content as a leader, as an expert, as someone that is reliable and someone that is consistent, all because of putting together content on social media that was aligned with my messaging, aligned with what I was able to offer, and so on and so forth. And I was able to lend this opportunity for myself.
Wow. Now, that was a blessing. That was a blessing to be seen as a local leader in your field, to be contacted by one of the giants to be a speaker for an event. And that was definitely a blessing and a huge leadership moment for you.
Absolutely, it was, and it was the pivotal moment in my entrepreneurial journey, to say the least, because I have to say, after this event, it's actually on my YouTube channel, the event, when I was speaking on stage, I did a whole content recap of it that day. You know, it truly gave me the support and motivation to keep showing up as a leader. It truly validated the dream and desire that I had to step up in as far as, supporting others in their entrepreneurial journey online. And as a matter of fact, Taiwan, and just recently, Facebook reached out to me again, and I was just approved after they offered me to apply to become one of their members of their leaders network on Facebook. And so I am now one of the members of their circle of leaders of small businesses online, where we are a community of leaders using the app to impact others and communities and support with what it is that we have to offer. So I'm very excited about it. It just recently happened over the last 5 days, and so I just joined that community.
Wow, congratulations. Things are definitely on the up and up and moving in a positive direction for you and your business and your expertise. So that's awesome. Congratulations. Hot off the press.
Thank you so much. Yes, right off the press.
That is exciting. So as an entrepreneur, I'm sure, and we've heard about several great things that's happened for you in your journey recently, but I'm sure you've had to learn to have tough skin, because we will hear some yeses like you've heard with Facebook, but I'm sure you've heard a lot of no's before you heard those yeses. So what kind of mindset have you had to develop since starting your business?
That you definitely have to be prepared to embrace whatever comes your way. And when things happen, when it's the no's or whether it's the yes, always look at them as great experiences. Even today, as I continue to build my business and growing my own community, I have my own Facebook group of female coaches community that's almost at 500 members now that I've built on my own that I'm supporting. You are going to find in this journey of entrepreneurship a lot of setbacks. A lot of people are not going to understand why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Some people are just going to be watching and lurking and wanting to wait until you fall down your face. And, I had to build the mindset it's all about my outcome, which is supporting my community at the end of the day with what it is that I know how to do. And every time I would hear a no, I would look at it as an experience and say, okay, what did I learn from this? As a leader, it is imperative that we do not look at failures as failures. We look at them as experiences, I believe, because I've gotten a lot of no's. I've gotten, a lot of people that I thought would want to partner with me and collaborate with me, not want to do that. I've had others, trying to copy paste me. And when I see that, I'm like, well, I'm doing a great job. When I see others trying to copy the same way that I'm, marketing my brand, I'm happy about that as a leader, right? As a leader, you want that. You want people to talk about you when you're not in the room. You want people to try to be you when you're not around. You want to influence. And so I'm okay with that. And therefore, with that said, my mindset had to shift from, caring about having others validate my worth to truly diving into inside of me and really building my self-worth and really building my ability to do what it is that I say that I'm going to do and to follow through. And every time I am in connection with somebody and I have an opportunity to be connected with a community, I ensure that I follow through and I support fully. And so, the mindset for me is, again, it's going to happen. Trouble is going to come. And people are going to say no, and, the challenge that I'm doing may not be the way I thought it would be, and that's okay. It's a matter of taking action and learning along the way, right? And so that's basically, the mindset that I have.
That's good. That's good. Trouble is going to happen, so we have to take action. You're right. I mean, it's not always going to be daisies and trouble is going to come. That's the only way that you know that you are being successful and being tested and really working towards your craft when you are being tested, when trouble comes. Are you going to be resilient? Are you going to rise up? Are you going to keep pushing? Are you going to stay focused on your purpose? So I am so happy that you mentioned that. When you think about your business, what has success taught you in your business and in your life?
Success to me is when I know everything that I do, big or small, is great. It's a great accomplishment when I see that. I remember, Tawana, when I first got paid from a client when I was a social media manager, because before becoming a coach, I was a social media manager for small business owners, hence why I have my media boutique now that offers content support for small business owners and myself coaching others that want to learn how to do it, right? And I remember having a very, very genuine conversation with this wonderful entrepreneur, a woman that was an owner online, an e-commerce store, that reached out to me on Instagram saying, I like what you do, and I see that you're a social media manager. I'd like to find out what you do. And I did not have any clients at the time. And I decided genuinely, naturally, I didn't have a coach that, at the time that was telling me, you need to have a booking link for your appointments to do discovery calls and do a sales call. Like, I did not know all of that. And so naturally, I said to her in DM, I said, absolutely, I'd love to talk to you and tell you a little bit more about what I do and what I can do for you. And I had, a 30-minute conversation with her, which turns out to be what I know now is called a sales call. And she, I remember hanging up the call knowing that she wanted me to invoice her and agreeing for me to be her social media manager. And I was delighted. I felt successful. And it wasn't even, the amount that I charged. It wasn't even like, it was just that moment that was successful to me, that I went out there and decided to show up and share with the world that I can do something. Somebody saw that in me and decided to reach out, and I followed through as a leader. I communicated clearly what I could do, and I closed a sale genuinely and naturally. And what that shows me about life overall is that whatever you set your heart to do genuinely and from your heart, for sure, to present to the world, whatever you set your mind to do, you will get it. That is definitely something that I know that I have in myself, in anything that I've ever accomplished in my life. Even coming from Haiti, a Caribbean country, not speaking English and wanting to go, to college, I had a sudden tragedy happen to me in Haiti. I was 16 years old when my father was shot in front of me, and I was, lost and confused. And so I had to figure out what to do with my life. And I came to the United States with the intention to go to college. And again, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm sharing the story with you is because, again, as a leader, it is imperative that success is about setting yourself a goal and being able to achieve it. And it's wonderful to, celebrate that because you made it happen. You made it happen. And so success in life is all about, knowing the fact that you can get whatever you want. You can get whatever you set your mind to. It will happen. It will happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Wow. I'm so happy that you shared your story, because so many times our next generation of leaders, our young people, they only see the final product. They don't see the struggle that went into it. They don't see the story behind the story. And so, just all of that, you turn something that was tragic into a blessing for you to be able to share your story, to be able to impact women and the future leaders and everybody that you touch. And so I love that. Whatever you do with your heart, if you put your heart into it, you can achieve it. And celebrate those successes regardless how big or how small. So I think that's powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for giving me the platform and opportunity to do so.
And when you think about growth, so as we know, growth is intentional. We should be learning and growing ourselves all the time. And if we're not learning, we're not growing. So what do you do for your professional and business growth?
In the beginning, early on, I was relying a lot on YouTube and Google to learn. And there's no lack of information out there. There's no doubt about that. And it was great. However, I realized quickly that I needed to invest in myself to become the leader that I truly wanted to be for my business. And therefore, I decided to invest in learning by investing in mentors and investing in coaches. I was able to get support from business coaches, success coaches, mindset coaches to really learn how to create all of these modules, if you call them modules, in that are needed to become a great leader. And so learning is absolutely something that I continue to do. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm a podcast fan. And, it is important to learn. However, I do also believe that it's good to learn, but it's also very important to take action, as we were talking about earlier in the conversation, because when you do take action and you start implementing what you learn as a leader, you are starting to develop your own ways of running your business, meaning you get to doubt the default. You get to be creative and more innovative for your business based on what it is that you started implementing that you learned. And so a lot of what I've been able to accomplish for my business is because of that. I learned, I implemented, but I doubted the default and created my own way based on my vision of what it is that I wanted to create for my brand.
Awesome. That's good. That is good information. I'm happy you talked about investing in mentors and coaches, and it sounds like they played a big part or significant part on the progression of your career and business. Can you talk a little bit about that and a little bit about the investing in mentors? Because sometimes we think that mentorship is free or at no cost. So when you said investing in that, can you expound just a little bit more on what you mean?
I would love to, because I was in a place, again, where I did not even understand the importance of having a mentor or investing in a coach, because I thought that I could figure it out all by myself. And so, I early on when I invested in my first business coach, I had the big aha moment with him when I realized that he wasn't there to give me the answers. And I started questioning him. I was thinking that investing in a coach, he was going to show up and tell me, this is what you have to do and you're going to get the results, period. Although that's what happens, But at the end of the day, what a coach does and a mentor does, they challenge you. They push you through to, yes, they give you the structure. Yes, they give you the recommendations. But you, as a leader, you are responsible to know what it is that you want to do, and you got to show up for it. You got to show up for that support. And so I had to learn that, and it was very, very good for my growth to learn to show up for my business coach calls with my coach, because I had to be prepared for, and I was showing up for myself, and all that he was doing and she was doing. I ended up with multiple coaches in my journey so far, and she would give me the structure and the recommendations of what it is that she thought that I could do better, and push me and ask me the right questions that would challenge me to push even higher, places that I never thought that I could get to, blockage that I had that I didn't know that I had. And so I would not have been able to identify those blockages if I did not invest in someone that's been through it, that understands it. And so, if you're listening and exploring investing in coaching, I would say absolutely look into it, because that is one thing. When I made the decision to do that, it's because I realized that I basically exhausted all of my abilities on my own to achieve the structure and leadership that I wanted for my business, and I needed that support from someone else to, pull me through and support me and guide me through, to get to the next level. So it is, it's not an expense. I'm saying this because I thought it was. I remember saying to myself, oh my gosh, getting a coach is expensive, right? And I changed that vocabulary. I said, well, it's not expensive. It's an investment to myself. It's the same way when I invest in buying a book about something that I want to learn, right? It's an investment, which is why it is extremely critical that as you look into investing in a coach, that you do your due diligence in truly, vetting them and they give you the opportunity to do discovery calls with them and so on and so forth. It's for you, that you're doing this. So I'm addicted to having coaches now. I'm always looking for a coach.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I often get asked the question, where do I find leadership experience, or where do I find these coaches or mentors? What advice would you give to an emerging leader who's looking to find the leadership experience, or looking to find a coach or mentor?
I would say definitely explore hanging around on LinkedIn. That is actually where I was able to invest in my first business coach and interact there. There's a lot of great coaches that are on LinkedIn that are sharing content and that are willing to speak to you, and that's how I was able to connect with my first coach. And I would also, there are tons of networks. Entrepreneur.com, the last time I checked, had a mentorship program, I believe, that was an investment attached to it. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure there's something there. You could find coaches there. You can also go on social media. I mean, nowadays, all great coaches are on the internet. They are on social media. They are on Facebook. And I would highly, suggest to continue to consume great podcasts like this one. Those are great resources for great coaches. I know I have been able to purchase books from listening to great podcasts, references and whatnot, and interviews like this that are happening in the podcast space. You can find great coaches from there, and absolutely ask around. And referrals are always good, right? When your friends tell you, this was my business coach and she was great, that also works. So ask around your immediate circle, or reach out on Facebook and ask people around. Join other Facebook groups. I would say definitely do that, because they're there, they're available. And so is there a hub to find all business coach in one place? If there is one, let me know, but I don't know of one particular one. Like, there's no like Amazon for business coaches. They're out there online, and it's a matter of you wanting to truly understand a skill that you want to do better at, and drilling down and finding someone that is skilled. Like, for instance, for me, if wanting to do social media is something that you want to master, and wanting to know how to do Instagram and Facebook outreach organically, I am the coach for that, and you will find me that way on social media. My website, my Instagram and Facebook and so forth calls that out. So once you know what you're looking for, drill down to it, and you will find them.
And what kind of tips do you have for the emerging leader who's looking for some leadership experience to add to their toolbox? How do you have any recommendations, any places they can go? How would you recommend that they move forward on that?
So I'll give you two examples, two resources, I guess, based on my experience of becoming more of a leader and becoming more of, more self-aware of what I'm able to do and gaining that confidence that I can do what I can do. So as far as mentorship, what I ended up doing is I went on and looked for opportunities where I could be an apprenticeship and do some work for free. And so I did that because I wanted to gain the experience, one, and the reason why I ended up where I ended up, it was called Gen M. It's the website I went on. The way they set it up was great because I was able to be hired for free, yet whoever hired me was going to be my mentor. And so as a result, I ended up with two great mentors, a business female coach and a digital marketing owner person was my mentor. And so I learned a lot from them there. And then the second place I would definitely say to look into when you are trying to understand how to get the leadership and whatnot, I would dive into Facebook. Facebook is a great, but not because I spoke at their event, but it is truly a powerful platform for that. A lot of leaders are on there talking and supporting, and a lot of Facebook groups offer mentorship. And I know this exists because I've mentored through Facebook groups that I'm in. And so I would absolutely look into Facebook and joining Facebook groups, high-level Facebook groups, and check to see if they have mentorship programs available, because I know I've mentored a couple of people through Facebook as a result. So that's how I would do it. I would look into, creating relationships where you can find someone like myself or another leader and say, can you be my mentor? In exchange, I will do XYZ kind of thing. Or going on Facebook and joining great Facebook groups and checking to see if they have mentorship programs included in there based on the members that are in there.
Excellent advice. I had not thought about, I'm in several Facebook groups, and I know that there are mentorship opportunities in some of those groups, so that was not a way that I was looking. So thank you for sharing that information. I know will be very helpful for our listeners to be able to think about that approach as well. So when you think back over your journey, I know oftentimes we have the thought in our mind like, man, if I'd have knew this, I could have done this or avoided this, or I just wish I knew this. So when you think back over your life, what information would you give to your 20-year-old self? What kind of strategies would you give yourself?
I would tell her that it's okay to be herself, that she doesn't need to try to get people to validate her worth. I would say to her, she's fine the way she looks, and it's okay that she has a little bit of an accent when she speaks English, and that she needs to show up for herself. And, you know, what she knows is something that's going to develop over time to something beautiful, and that she needs to continue to invest in wanting to learn and become a sponge and keep going and keep learning and keep, exploring different cultures, travel the world as much as she can, and, keep on learning, keep on being that sponge. And I have a 14-year-old daughter right now, and those are the things that I share with her. And I say to her, if that's what you want to try to do, go for it. Like when she just started high school, she's got to take extra courses and whatnot, and she gets to select which courses she wants, and she has to make decisions, right? And so making a decision is hard, and so especially when you're young. And so I support her as her mother and as a leader for her and her mentor, and her coach really in her life, by saying to her, be you, do what's in your heart that you believe is what you want to do. And so don't wait for others to validate who you are and tell you this or that. You're fine the way you are. You're special. And, if everybody was the same, the work would be boring. And so I would absolutely say, to my younger self, you are amazing, and, you are going to create your own community just the way you are. You're going to attract the right people for you.
That's absolutely beautiful. I have a daughter, and I definitely can relate to everything that you said. So that was beautiful and on time advice that I know will serve our listeners well. So as we close out here, what tidbits of wisdom can you share with our listeners? What one or two things that you would say to them that they could use in their personal or professional life?
I would say don't give up. Don't give up. In order for you to build that resilience and that endurance to keep going despite the troubles that come your way, despite the no's that come your way, don't give up. It's going to be very, very difficult now, especially that everybody's consuming social media even more now with the situation, and people are going to be online even more. You're going to be tempted to question your ability. You're going to be tempted to question, are you really, skilled to do what it is that you want to do? And my answer is yes, you are fine. And if you need more support, ask questions. The way you are going to become a great leader is when you ask questions and you seek help. You cannot do this alone, and understand that there is power in collaboration. I did not get here alone. I had to collaborate with other amazing leaders together as a community to be able to impact even more. And so be ready and give yourself the space to understand that it is okay for you to ask for help. You do not have to apologize for your actions. You are skilled and ready to conquer the world. And so don't give up. And that is definitely my message to you. And be patient. Be patient. It takes time. When Facebook reached out to me to have me explore applying to become one of their Leaders Network members, it was Thanksgiving of 2019. We are in spring of 2020 now, and I just got the membership approval a couple of days ago. And so it's a matter of, you got to be patient. I want you to be patient. That doesn't mean laying on your couch eating, popcorn. It's not going to happen like that. When I mean by patient, I want you to move strategically and intentionally and scale with precision.
That's good. That's good. That is a scale with precision. Yes. That is great information, great advice. So, Martine, what's next for you personally and professionally?
Personally, I am looking forward to leaving the 30 age group very soon, actually this year. I'm turning 40 this year, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Okay, awesome.
But personally, honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing my business pivot to the point where I can actually truthfully decide that I can look at it to do it full time. Personally, I see the opportunity for me to impact even more people, physically, eventually with conferences and being able to motivate my communities, that way, whether it's in person, but really building up my own community of women is my goal. And, I see myself, just helping out. I do have in my heart to support my country, Haiti, and supporting women, young women that are in that country that do not have the opportunity that I have right now, that will never have the opportunity that I was able to have, and being able to support them that way by bringing them the information. And so that is definitely in my heart to do, and I know that's going to be next.
Outstanding, outstanding. So how can our listeners learn more about you, stay connected with you, and support you on your leadership journey as you go forward?
I would love to meet every single one of you listening. Come on over and hang out with me on Instagram. It's my first name, Martine_Cadet is my last name. If you're not an Instagrammer, totally fine. I'm also on LinkedIn under my first and last name, Martine Cadet. Definitely check me out on Facebook. I have a private Facebook group for female coaches. Whether you are exploring becoming a coach, you are intermediate coach, or you are at a position where you're scaling your business, yet you are wanting to use social media organically and start saving a little bit more money in investing in ads, I would love to invite you to come in my digital space on Facebook. I show up occasionally with great support. I'm actually getting ready for my 5-day free Instagram engagement challenge for female coaches. It's starting this week in my Facebook group. And so when you get close to me, all these exciting free trainings happen very often. And so I cannot wait to meet you virtually, that is, obviously.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Martine, we could probably talk for another hour, but unfortunately our time has come to a close. But I wanted to tell you thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to give me the opportunity to interview you this evening. It was definitely an honor and a pleasure to have you as my guest, and many blessings and continued success to you and your business, your family on your journey.
Thank you so much, Taiwana. I am absolutely honored that I've been able to come and speak to your community as well. And thank you for all of you that listened. And it's such a great podcast. I subscribe. I love it. And so thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. So thank you, listening audience, for tuning in to tonight's show with my special guest, Martine Cadet, where she shared with us questions to think about. How committed are you? You have to find a way and show up fully and be engaged. Be consistent and reliable. You have to be prepared for whatever comes your way, because trouble is going to come, but you need to be prepared to tackle it and move forward. You have to be focused on your outcome. Look at failures as experiences. Do what you say and follow through. It's very important as a leader to do what you say and follow through. Take action. You can learn as much as you want to learn, but you have to take action. And remember to celebrate along the way, no matter how big or how small the success might be. Whatever you do, do it with your heart. And make sure you invest in mentors and coaches. They will help you go to the next level. It's good to learn what you apply. Your coaches and mentors will challenge you. Explore avenues such as LinkedIn, such as Facebook, Instagram. There are oftentimes mentorship programs inside of high-level Facebook groups. So make sure you look at those avenues if you're struggling or looking for a coach or mentor. It's okay to be yourself. You don't need anyone to validate you. Just continue to move forward, continue to invest in what you're wanting to learn, and don't give up. You will need it to build your resilience. You will need to be patient because it does take time. And as leaders, remember, ask questions and seek help. That's what great leaders do. They don't try to do it alone. And there's power in collaboration. So if you like what you tonight and want to listen to previous shows, subscribe at directimpactbroadcasting.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Direct Impact Broadcasting, as well as LinkedIn by the same name. And it will have all of our podcast shows, this show, our SOS for Leaders. If you are thinking about starting your own podcast, I would love to have your show on our network. You can send an email to DI Broadcasting. That's DIROADCASTING at TrendyEliteLLC.com to learn more. And please tune in next week to hear from another amazing leader. Until then, have a good evening.
Thank you, friends, for tuning in to another episode of Leadership Tidbits with Coach T. Wilson, where Taiwana speaks with leaders who share nuggets of wisdom that you can use in your personal and professional life. Follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Coach T. Wilson. Connect on LinkedIn or visit www.coachtwilson.com. And remember, in life, learn as much as you can, appreciate often, and lead fearlessly.